Hey, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha, Kodash. Double honors to my elders and apostles at Great Millstone who taught me the truth and rule well. Peace, love, and safety is to the elect. This is the brother you call Lamoth with the Great Millstone Camp Branch out here in Omaha, Nebraska. Coming back with another lesson, Lord willing, to feed and to edify the lost sheep of the nation of Israel through the Holy Spirit. Racha, Kodash. And the Israelites consist of the so-called Negroes, the so-called Hispanics, and the so-called Native Americans by the seed of your father, no matter what you may look like. And I wanted to get into this article that I came across, knowing this from a website called TheVerge.com. And it says, Valve CEO Gabe Newell's Neuralink competitor is expecting its first brain chip this year. The stealthy startup thinks multiple simultaneous smaller brain implants could be better than one. And keyword, key phrase, it says Neuralink's competitor, all right? And Neuralink, for those that don't know what the Neuralink is, it's a program now started up by Elon Musk, okay? And the purpose of this Neuralink was to help those who certain individuals that may have maybe paraplegic, or they may have like some type certain health issues or certain ailments of the body, physical ailments, and it helps them to to be normal again, so to speak. And then you see this article that came out, which just came out on May 23rd, 2025. Which today was the 25th. So this was 2 days ago. Okay. Now I'm going to get into it a little bit. It's plain and simple to see what's going on. Esau Edom is really pushing his, he's really pushing his agenda. That Revelation 13, which we always have to bring that up. The Revelation 13 and 16, okay? This is what Esau Edom is pushing. All right, on all levels. Now, I do want to touch on this article a little bit before I actually get into the precept, because there's a precept that we're going to continue to bring out. All right, but let's get into this article. I pray that this is edifying. All right, so it says Valve co-founder and CEO Gabe Newell, the company behind Half-Line and Dota 2 and Counter-Strike, and preeminent PC game distribution platform Steam, has long toyed with the idea that your brain should be more connected to your PC. And there's a term that the elder Yashawamba, he brought up to me, not to me, but he brought up, and I had to look it up, man. This is exactly what they're doing, which is transhumanism, okay? Which transhumanism is a philosophical and intellectual movement that explores the possibility of enhancing human capabilities through science and technology, aiming to transcend natural limitations to improve the human condition, right? And the brother just sent the article through today, which I have to actually go through and read it, but based off of the title, it was showing how pretty much people are going to be made superhuman via through these nanobots. They were going to be pretty much superhumans to where they don't get sick. You're pretty much immortal. Okay, I believe that immortal was within the title. And this is what Esau Edom plans to do via through this technology. Okay, and what did it say in this article? It says this individual, what's his name, Gabe Newell, has long toyed with the idea that your brain should be more connected to your PC. Okay, so he wants to connect you, pretty much making it seem cool to connect with these different systems, these different forms of technology, to like with the Neuralink, the individual that was the first human trial for the Neuralink, who's able to play games on his computer just with using his thoughts. Okay, so they're making this a cool thing, and you have a lot of people that will be attracted to this. Especially with this individual here, which it says it began just the next sentence, right? It says it began over a decade ago with in-house psychologists studying people's biological responses to video games. So you know you yourself that play video games, me myself, I play video games. You have these young children that playing video games, and really they're just trying to see. They're pretty much just studying us through these games, because there's a large percentage of individuals in the world that play video games. All right, from youth all the way to adulthood. All right, so they were just pretty much Esau's. Gaming is an experiment for Esau Edom to see how people are playing, how they think. Maybe even what they're talking about on there. And they want to use this idea of brain chips. At least this individual in this particular article, to make things more fun. Okay. It says Valve once considered earlobe monitors for its first VR headset. The company publicly explored the idea of brain-computer interfaces for gaming at GDC in 2019. But Newell decided to spin off the idea that same year. He quietly incorporated a new brain-computer interface startup, Starfish Neuroscience, which has now revealed plans to produce its very first brain chip later this year. All right. Now this was pretty interesting right here. It says Starfish's first blog post, spotted by Valve watcher Brad Lynch, makes it clear we're not talking about a complete implant yet. All right. This bit is the custom electropsychology. What is this? Electropsychology. I believe I'm pronouncing it right. Which says the branch of psychology that deals with the electrical phenomena associated with nervous and other bodily activities. So you're going to be pretty much, you're going to be going back to that definition of transhumanism, which I actually wanted to finish that a little bit. It says, which essentially transhumanism is just connecting man with machine. Okay, you look at the enhancement and capabilities. Transhumanism focuses on improving human abilities such as intelligence, longevity, and physical strength through various technological means. And it reminds me of that movie Elysium. The movie Elysium where it was Matt Damon, real sick. He wanted to get to Elysium, which was pretty much Esau's heaven in the skies. And, to get cured. He was radiated. At his job, he got caught in a major radiation intake, and he wanted to go get healed in Elysium. And what they did to give him strength is they connected, pretty much made him a robot. They connected something into his nervous system that reacted to how, whatever movement that he wanted to make, and it made him super strong. For those of you that have not seen Elysium, really advise to go check that out, man. The Apostle Tahar brought that movie up years ago, and I always watch it like it's brand new, and I see something new every time. Okay, let's get into this. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 13, and verse 14. It says, "And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast." When you're able with this technology to make somebody walk again, you're essentially acting as the Lord. And I bring this up often, with the man at the gate of the temple beautiful, where he was lame from his youth up. And, through his faith and the putting on the hands of, I believe it was the Apostle Peter, he was made whole again. He was able to walk, get up and walk. And that was a miracle in the sight of the people, and they said that he was above the age of 40 when it happened. So, but that was through the Spirit. Okay, Esau Edom's trying to do that with this technology, all right, or is doing this with his technology. So this is this man. He has a God complex, and he's trying to fulfill his will. But it tells us in the book of Isaiah, um, was it? I believe it's Isaiah 29. Okay, Isaiah 29, and I thought I changed the darkness to light on here. Yep, this is Isaiah 29 and verse 8. It says, "It shall even be as when an hungry man dreameth, and behold, he eateth, but he awaketh, and his soul is empty. Or as when a thirsty man dreameth, and behold, he drinketh, but he awaketh, and behold, he is faint, and his soul hath appetite. So shall the multitude of all the nations be that fight against Mount Zion." And this MOTB is it is starting fighting against Zion. All right, where Zion is another name for the nation of Israel. Okay, because Esau Edom, he's doing everything in his power to get his birthright back. You know, having the fatness of the heaven, the dew of heaven, and the fatness of the earth. All right, now he's trying to take it to another level where he wants to enslave all humanity. Okay, this is ultimately why he's bringing forth this chip. This is ultimately why he's doing that. All right. But it says that the point of me bringing this out, it says even when a hungry man dreameth and behold he eateth, and yet his soul is empty. Yes, because the Most High, he's going to give Esau the illusion that he's going to be able to get this done. That he's going to be able to push this MOTB to the point where he's going to have everyone enslaved. But the Most High ain't going to allow that. Okay, because you got the elect, and the elect ain't going to take that shit. The elect ain't going to fall for the wiles of the devil, because they have been given the eyesight from Yahweh Shema Shai to see these wicked and wretched ways. Okay? What is the precept? It says, this is the spirit that the Lord, I believe it's in two places. I believe in Proverbs 27. All right. I'm going to type it in. I think I'm typing it right. Yep. It says it twice, right? It says, Proverbs 22 and verse 3 and Proverbs 27 and 12. All right, and Proverbs 27 and 12 says, "A prudent man perceiveth the evil and hideth himself." Okay, and to be prudent is to do doing things in advance. Preparing, for every scenario that comes down the line. All right, you're putting yourself in the right position to win. You're putting yourself in a position to win. It says, "A prudent man perceiveth the evil and hideth himself." And where does the prudent man hide himself? Under the wings of Yahweh Shema Shai. Okay? Because Yahweh Shema Shai is going to preserve his elect from the pending evil. From this MOTB. From the pestilences. From the famine. All right? Some will be martyrs. Okay? But that's written as prophecy as well. But, for the most part, Yahweh Shema Shai elect, they're going to be in good case, bro. Great case. Okay? It says, it's finishing this. It says, "But the simple pass on and are punished." Those that are passing off the MOTB for sin in all its forms. Right? Those that are just all together, just straight up against the prophecies. Anytime you hear the men of the Lord bringing out the prophecies, telling you what's going to come to pass. Nation's going to be in captivity under the nation of Israel. All wickedness and evil is going to be put out. A kingdom of righteousness is going to be risen up. Esau Edom is going to be done away with after 1,000 years of hardcore captivity. All these things are true, but these things are being passed up by the 2/3. All right. And and especially the warnings, because we spoke about on the highways, concerning the book of Ezekiel 7 and 14, I believe, where it says that they have blown the trumpet to make all ready, but none go up to the battle. So this is going to cause a lot of our people to get catch the judgment of Yahweh Shema Shai, which he said that the slain of him is going to be many. All right, let's get back into the topic though. Kind of start getting all over the place. Back in Revelation 13 and verse 14, it says, "And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had a wound by a sword and did live. And that beast is talking about the ancient Roman Empire, okay, which is revived right here, right now, in this day and age by Babylon, reincarnated rather, as America, Babylon the Great, okay? And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as will not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Okay, and this is what we see coming. All right, I want to get a little bit more to this article though, then I'll close it out. You know, because this is plain and simple, and we're not going to stop talking about this. You know, we're not going to ever stop talking about this until, you know, it comes to pass, and then we're really going to be talking about it. You know, but let's get back into a little bit of this article, and then I'll close it out. I'll leave a link in the description. All right. It says back here, it says, it says this bit is the custom electrophysiology chip designed to record brain activity, like how Neuralink can read your mind, so patients can interact with computers. So they're setting this up on all platforms. All right, they're aiming at all platforms. Not every individual plays video games, but you have a large number that do. Actually, I'm not sure what I'll click for that. How many people play video games? Let's just start with the U.S. All right. So it says, as of in 2024, 61% of Americans, totaling 190.6 million people, play video games. This number includes individuals aged 5 to 90, according to a report from the Entertainment Software Association. Additionally, 78% of U.S. households have played at least one game device in the past 12 months. So, you know, those, which is showing you that people love to play video games, okay? You know, and you know, like I said, you know, some of our other brothers do. Starting with, with myself, I play video games, and it's, you know, you want to have fun. You want to, you know, kind of, you know, get your mind off of this kingdom for a hot second. You know, and of course, the scriptures, you know, is in the mix. You know, let's not get that twisted. But it just has a, you know, a sense of relaxation. You want to play the video game sometimes. You might want to play a little Madden, a little NCAA, or maybe a little Call of Duty, you know, or whatever it is that you're into. But, you know, this is going to be pushed. And I'm not saying that this is going to be pushed on all games, but hey, it may, you know, that VR, that virtual reality, that took a lot of gamers by storm. A lot of people wanted to get into that. Okay. Now, it'll be a point in time where, you know, these games, you'll be able to just play these video games without having a controller. Your controllers will go out of style. You know, first they had the ones with the wires that plug up to your system. Then they got the wireless. Shit, they'll mess around and have something that you ain't, it's in your head. You don't even need no controllers. You ain't got to worry about going to buy no another controller. Just refill your controller subscription, man. Via through your brain chip, you know. So this is what we're looking at, though. Let's finish this though. It says, but Starfish isn't complaining. Starfish isn't claiming it's already built the systems to power it or the bits to stick into a person's head. It says, we anticipate our first chips arriving in the late 2025, and we are interested in finding collaborators for whom such a chip would open new and exciting avenues. So I imagine they're gonna have like how they have those big game tournament meetings, whatever you call them. Somebody correct me. I'm not sure exactly what they're called, but you know, it's kind of like you know, they link up, play these games out in a competition form. Even you have people that test out games. You know, and I imagine they'll ask for a bunch of volunteers, just like they did with Neuralink. They needed a bunch of volunteers to try out this, to line up for this brain chip, which, it turned out that those ages were like mainly elderly individuals that had great health issues and things like that, maybe in a wheelchair, had a cane, couldn't walk that good. But it's no different, and I speak, like I said, speaking this as a man, I believe you're going to have a lot of people lining up to test this out. Because you got 100, like, according to those numbers, but that number could be off, could be way more, but 190.6 million U.S. citizens play video games. Okay, so they're touching on every aspect with this with this brain chip technology. Okay, so yeah, I'll finish this Revelation 13, and then we'll close it out. Right. It says, verse 16, it says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark. And you can buy with this chip. It's not just a tracking device, Bishop Nathaniel. You can also make payments with this. And you have people that have for a long time been showing that. You can open up doors with this. All right. The elder Manata Zagba did a video, which I didn't see the entire video, but he played a clip where this young lady, her and her friend, one chick, she had a RFID chip, just the chip itself, showed it to the camera, scanned it, washed it down with a Red Bull, and then had her friend scan her stomach, and you will hear the chip reacting to it. The chip will react via beeping off the device. You know what I'm saying? So you could do a lot of, which I don't know what their purpose was. I just want to bring that up. I think it was dumb. But at the end of the day, this is showing you that people know what these chips do. Okay? And this is why it's going to be such a convenience for people. But I'll leave it there. Like I said, I'll leave this article in the description box, Lord willing, so you can read the rest. Not a very long it's not a very long article, but just wanted to read that part. So with that being said, I do pray that this was an edifying video, and I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha HaKodash. Double honors to my elders and apostles, a great millstone. Peace, love, and safety is to the elect. Shalom.